turns out that there is something that the very America First Trump base will turn on him for.
Never thought I'd see the day where Trump fans turned on Trump, even the slightest. And it turns out we're there, kind of.
Plot twist of the century, you guys. After years of tattooing his name on their foreheads, MAGA supporters are finally turning on Donald Trump, right? And honestly, I'm shocked that it took this long, right? With the chaos, surrounding the alleged Epstein list, the connections and all of that, the leaks names and all of the online claims, Republicans are suddenly like, wait, did we vote for the wrong person? And baby, the regret is loud, right? Let's be real. Trump's base has stood by him through everything, right? The court cases, they stayed, indictments, they stayed, the mugshots, please, they turned it into merch, right? But now that people online are spreading these allegations about Trump, Clinton, Epstein, all tied up in messy rumors, the MAGA folks are starting to squint like, hold on now. And honestly, the internet didn't help. Every time new allegations popped up, Republicans were on Twitter typing essays like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. Meanwhile, Democrats are just sitting on the side eating popcorn like it's the Super Bowl, right? And here's the thing. Once a political party or a political base starts doubting you, that is dangerous, right? Republicans are reportedly saying that they regret their votes. Conservative influencers are distancing themselves. And people who used to scream Trump 2024 are now whispering, maybe not. Anyways, thank you so much for tapping in when you saw this. Let's watch the clips and we'll be back. Credit goes to all original creators.
Mark my fucking words. I say this today and I say this now. Whatever truth is about to be revealed regarding Donald Trump, including Donald Trump, surrounding Donald Trump, is way more sinister than anything that we could have ever imagined, than anything that we could have ever mustered. Because the way that the Republican Party is going out of their way to make this grand spectacle, this grand public spectacle of trying to distance themselves from Donald Trump, oh baby, it's going down. And they're throwing that man under the bus. The results of Tuesday night's election shook up the Republican Party way more than they want to admit. Way more than they want to admit, to the point where the warnings don't even fucking matter anymore. They're literally going against Donald Trump. They're literally preparing to rebel against Donald Trump. But let's do a little backtracking real quick so you can understand exactly where I'm going with this, okay? Boom. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson starts the paper trail, right? So the Trump administration wanted it to make it legal to not give 42 million Americans their SNAP benefits. So they send it to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court rules in favor of it. Ketanji Jackson is like, fuck that. Sends it to the fucking lower courts. Lower courts that are filled with appointed judges from the Biden and Obama administration. Keep that in mind. So now the judges from the lower courts are like, fuck that, we're not doing that. They actually ordered the Trump administration to give everybody their full SNAP benefits. So now the Trump administration is like, fuck, these motherfuckers is making it harder for us. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson also makes it known that the contingency fund, the $5 billion in that contingency fund is gone. It's gone. Where is it? Due to the executive branch, it's gone. Thus setting up the paper trail. Sets up the paper trail, all this back and forth. And in the paper trail is information regarding that the contingency fund and the money in it is gone. Keep that in mind. So now, boom, Tuesday night elections run around. The results, unanimous, every single election. Democrat, 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 blue, blue, blue. The Republicans are feeling it. They fucking feeling it. We heard the fucking warnings. We heard, we saw. You understand it? Like, listen, we got to get a hold over this shit. Because if we let them get it, if we let them have these midterms, we're fucked. We're going to jail. Mike Johnson even gave a fucking warning. He even gave a fucking warning. He said, we cannot let the Democrats take this. If they take it, they are going to end the Trump administration. They're going to end it. They're not going to let that man run his full term. You damn Skippy. Now, if y'all didn't already know, I'm putting you on. There's a Project 2025 tracker that literally shows you the progress of this fucking movement, of this fucking demise to America. You understand? And right now it's at 48%, which means the Republicans were working hard. So far, it's been stagnant. But it'll make sense why it's stagnant once I give you all this information. Okay, boom. Despite Project 2025 being almost at 50% completion, even though these Republicans issued out their little warnings, they've already picked their side. They've already decided they're throwing Donald Trump under the bus. Because after Tuesday night's election results, did you guys know that the Senate voted and passed to strip Donald Trump of his power on imposing tariffs? The vote was 51 yay and 47 nay. This week it's revealed to us that Speaker Mike Johnson is actually the person that's going to be leading the vote with 100+ Republicans, seniors too, enforcing the DOJ in releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files after a portion of the emails have been, you understand, made public and they seen that Donald Trump's names is in that shit. Earlier this week, right, Donald Trump makes an appearance at the NFL games, the Washington Commanders. He's not even able to give his speech. He is booed the entire time. The entire stadium is booing him. And here's the ironic thing about it. The Washington Commanders used to be known as the Redskins. It was a stadium filled with Redskins booing Donald Trump, their Republican president. And this is what I mean by there is a outpouring display of all the Republicans literally turning their backs on Donald Trump right now, which means whatever truth that is about to be revealed surrounding that man is absolutely sinister. And don't you think for a second that any of these other fucking Republicans that were working under him are innocent. Some of you Democrats too. And because I wanted to give you guys a little treat, I'm going to insert the clip right here, a little part of them literally booing this man. Here you go.
And state your name.
Released more emails from Epstein that showed Donald Trump knew more than he was letting on. And Trump tried to get ahead of that by bringing in Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert to the White House to try to get them to change their vote on releasing the files. But both of them told Donald Trump to pound sand, something that was unthinkable just a month ago. Then to make matters worse, the right-wing media ran the stories onto email, even going so far as showing some of the more incriminating emails to their audience. And Donald Trump is not happy, and he is letting everybody know it. He is rage posting on Truth Social right now, doing the usual it's a hoax, it's a scam, and threatening any Republican that sides with the Democrats on this matter. Make no mistake, Donald Trump is losing his grip on the people that he was controlling like puppets, and it's time to get the popcorn.
Hey fellow, real quick question. Would you still vote for him a third time now? And if so, why? What the wrong with you? Oh, is it because they're not real? They're not real? Yeah, who said so? Fox News and OAN? Okay. Hey buddy, the short bus just called and they said that you missed your stop. And before anybody gets mad, don't worry, I'm the driver of the short bus. I have all the Transformers knowledge to prove it. Look on the bright side, you don't have a soybean farm, do you? But at the end of the day, this is serious because real people were actually hurt. And we told you that back in 2015 when he first announced his run. But that didn't matter to you guys back then, did it? Yeah, actually, a lot of us knew that he had ties to Jeffrey Epstein for a really long time. You're the last one here. It must be that bona fide red state education, huh? Listen, you voted for a rapist. You voted for a pedophile. You voted for a fraud. You voted for a con man. But, you know, at least you're fucking single, too. Who has 3 votes and used all 3 of them to vote for a guy who blew off Bill Clinton? You did.
Donald Trump is facing major backlash from MAGA base this morning on Truth Social after waking up and posting that the Jeffrey Epstein files are a hoax. His first post in over 24 hours as the White House remains effectively frozen, and there are more Republicans on Capitol Hill coming out saying that they'll vote to release the files. Now Andy Biggs says he'll do it, and more. But I pulled these comments from under Donald Trump's post this morning. Just release it all, Trump. You effing ran on that. You're losing the base. You're a con man, and all these idiots who believe you are just that, idiots. Not guilty people don't have meltdowns over hoaxes. Release the files. Donald Trump is guilty, and if you deny the actual evidence, then you're just blind to the truth. These are comments directly pulled from Donald Trump's post on his Truth Social account. Those within his own base, within his own party, are rebuking him. And he's trying to run from it, but he can't get away from it. Major developments right now. Spread the word. Full updates on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow for more.
It took less than a year of Donald Trump's second term before MAGA completely crumbled. And we all knew this was going to happen. We just didn't know when. This is a post from a very popular conservative creator on Twitter. Over 100,000 followers. With pictures of people burning their MAGA gear. What a sad ending to something we worked so hard for. Here's yet another former Trump supporter with over 300,000 followers on Twitter. And just like that, MAGA was done. Yet another creator with over 200,000 followers. I'm going to be on whatever side this isn't. In reference to Donald Trump having a hissy fit over Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there are so many other major creators all over social media turning on Donald Trump right now. What took them so long to realize that he is a terrible person, a terrible president? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, there are still people out there that still support Donald Trump, even after all of these emails got released. Wild, I know. But we are seeing for the first time MAGA truly crumbling right in front of our eyes.
I think we're going to see an increasingly fractured party, but one where
I think there's two quotes, or there's one quote I keep in mind now, the evil always overplays its hand quote. And then there's the other concept I talked about before, where one of the issues you have with Republicans is they can do a lot of bad stuff, but people don't connect the bad outcomes directly to the Republican Party. They find a way to go around and blame Democrats. And this is why I was saying for a long time, like, you need to have like negative outcomes for people so they can connect more of their vote to the Republican Party. The issue connecting this to that, the evil always overplays its hand quote, is because Trump has no political instincts, number one, and number two, because Trump doesn't realize how much his insanity was kept on rails by his first administration. At some point, like, it's just like the Argentinian bailouts, Epstein shit, government shutdown, the next longest government shutdown, the tariffs, the back and forth on the tariff, it's like the signal groups, it's thing after thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. Like, even MAGA, or at least like the outer perimeters of MAGA, are only going to be able to tolerate so much. And that so much is a lot, but like, Jesus, again, we're not even a year in. And what the
as long
and on with all
I want to say, you know, I don't know, you know, I don't want to lean into right-wing conspiracy theories, but I do want to say that I believe that this would have been Biden's FBI when Trump was attempted. So I want to be clear on that. I do think a couple of things are odd, that he's Trump, who famously sues everybody, and Trump, who is the biggest grudge holder on the planet, has never really ever mentioned this kid ever. And that's kind of interesting to me, but we'll let Tucker ride this conspiracy theory because that's their brand. That is not our brand. And what I think is interesting about it, though, is that these calls are coming from inside the house, that people within the MAGA movement are starting to call this out. Now, I think an extraordinary claim requires extraordinary evidence, and I refuse to jump on some conspiracy theory. Do I think Trump is diabolical enough to do really, really crazy shit? 1,000,000% I do. But I'll leave all of this conspiracy theory stuff to the Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlsons, etc. But moving along, Ben Shapiro right-wing Jewish people are having a problem right now because they went to seek refuge in MAGA. And in MAGA, I guess they didn't see January 6th, the Nazi flags in the state capitol, the person who was pardoned by Donald Trump that wore a Camp Auschwitz t-shirt, the Nazi symbolism and flags all through the Proud Boys, white supremacists, Jews will not replace us. So in an interesting, weird power play, they went to seek refuge with the party in their tent that keeps room for Nazis. And they're having a hard time because the Nazis are more emboldened now and they're real loud and proud about it. You have Tucker Carlson, who is very critical of Israel, which Israel deserves a shit ton of criticism. But Tucker platforms neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes. And so basically there's a signaling within the Death Star that hating Jews is okay. And so the Ben Shapiros they don't have a home right now because they prioritize anti-Semitism above all other forms of isms, racism, sexism, anti-immigrant bigotry, et cetera, et cetera. They think theirs is the creme de la creme instead of attacking.
MAGA have been regretting their vote for Donald Trump, and there's nothing that brings me more joy than seeing these videos, because what the fuck you were voting for?
I just want to say I'm sorry I voted for him, and I thought he was going to help folks like me. Now, they didn't cut off my food stamps, my Medicaid, everything. I don't know how I'm going to eat or pay for my medicine.
I admit, I regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret my vote. I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote.
So We voted for Trump. We trust him with the words that he promised as Latinos. This is crazy that starting next week, multiple cities will be getting immigration. I hate that I voted for him. Buenas noches.
What am I supposed to explain to my 3-year-old? That hurts.
I'm a Latina who voted for Trump, and I am so sorry.
My medication, it runs $20,000 a month without insurance. I make $800 a month. Oh, that will kill me. That would kill my friends. That would kill millions of people in this country if they lose their health care.
I regret my vote 110%.
I voted for Donald Trump. Really starting to regret my vote.
I will not be supporting him anymore.
The President of the United States is wasting precious political capital talking about Epstein, not about affordability or about Russia's invasion of Ukraine or about the tariff war that he started against essentially every single country on the globe, except for Russia and North Korea for some reason. No. He's defending himself from even more Epstein allegations. This time, it's not even allegations coming from a third party. These are emails from Jeffrey Epstein himself, each email more damning than the last, showing that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were not only friends, as we knew, not only did they go to parties together and point at women and laugh and, joke about how they like women a little bit younger. Surprise, surprise, it goes deeper than that. Surprise, surprise, Donald Trump knew about Jeffrey Epstein's deepest, darkest proclivities the entire time. The actual rape of young girls that he was perpetuating en masse, it seems like, and I guess you can call it a network of both blackmail and trafficking that was going on through Jeffrey Epstein. All of this is to say, Donald Trump is spending his Friday morning talking about this, defending himself from this, rather than focusing on any of the important issues. Just a few days ago, we had the FBI Director Kash Patel. We had Pam Bondi from the DOJ. We had all of the most important officials who should be solving and preventing crime, preventing terrorist attacks, fighting our enemies both abroad and finding spies domestically. The FBI has more important shit to do, but they're still protecting Trump from Epstein. At the same time, we see MAGA supporters beginning to turn on Trump. Listen to friend of the show, Aaron Parnas, breaking this down.
We have some big news right now. Donald Trump is facing major backlash from MAGA base this morning on Truth Social after waking up and posting that the Jeffrey Epstein files are a hoax. His first post in over 24 hours as the White House remains effectively frozen, and there are more Republicans on Capitol Hill coming out saying that they'll vote to release the files. Now Andy Biggs says he'll do it, and more. But I pulled these comments from under Donald Trump's post this morning. Just release it all, Trump. You effing ran on that. You're losing the base. You're a con man, and all these idiots who believe you are just that, idiots. Not guilty people don't have meltdowns over hoaxes. Release the files. Donald Trump is guilty, and if you deny the actual evidence, then you're just blind to the truth. These are comments directly pulled from Donald Trump's post on his Truth Social account. Those within his own base, within his own party, are rebuking him. And he's trying to run from it, but he can't get away from it.
We're going to break this down a little bit more in 1 second. I want to go to the actual comments of his post. But first, let's read what he said. He said, quote, "The Democrats are doing everything in their withering power to push the Epstein hoax again. Already, we can debunk this. This came from the Epstein estate itself. Jeffrey Epstein's estate released not only a bunch of documents and emails and the book, but they released them to the House Oversight Committee. The House Oversight Committee then released it even further. In fact, I would say that the Republicans are doing everything in their withering power to prevent the Epstein files from being released. They voted over and over and over for them not to be released." Donald Trump then says, "Despite the DOJ releasing 50,000 pages of documents in order to deflect from all of their bad policies and losses, especially the shutdown embarrassment where their party is in total disarray and has no idea what to do. Some weak Republicans have fallen into their clutches because they are soft and foolish. Epstein was a Democrat, and he is the Democrats' problem, not the Republicans' problem." Just the pivoting here is insane. This is actually a desperate attempt from Trump to control the narrative, which honestly he's usually pretty good at. Just to be 100% honest, Trump is usually pretty good at grabbing some narrative out of thin air and talking about it so much that the average American doesn't know who to believe. But this right here is a desperate attempt to spin the narrative, and it's so see-through. He's trying to spin back to the shutdown. He would so very much so love it to be 1 week ago when the Democrats were all talking about the shutdown, because now he's lost control of the narrative. And by the way, the shutdown is likely going to work out in Democrats' favor as well. The ACA subsidies, the healthcare subsidies, are still set to expire in roughly 1 month. When those subsidies expire, who will Americans blame it on? The current administration that's in power that was fighting against them, or the Democrats who at least tried to do something? They tried to do something. I have a friend whose mom is reliant on the healthcare subsidies provided, and she didn't really know that. She didn't understand that until the fight happened. And then she's been paying attention. She's been paying very close attention. She's going to be paying attention when Republicans vote no next month, and she's going to know exactly who to blame. So just to go back to Trump's post, it is a desperate attempt at narrative control, and the people in the comments can realize that. I mean, let me just finish reading this. So let me just to recap. He says the Democrats are doing everything.
When America's loudest fan base turned into America's loudest critiques, yeah, I think your campaign is in trouble. Right? Honestly, the way this Epstein situation is shaking the political table, this is the first time I've seen MAGA actually question him, right? And you know it's serious when they actually start to think that he might not be innocent. So let me know what you guys think, right? Is this the beginning of the end of Trump support? Are Republicans finally waking up, or is this just temporary internet outrage? Drop your thoughts, like the video, and make sure you subscribe. Please subscribe. This video is for commentary and discussion only. All claims mentioned are alleged and based on public online reactions, right? Reports and, just public statements. Nothing is stated as fact without verification. Thank you so much for tapping in again when you saw this. And as usual, I'll see you on my next one.